We're talking with Max Geiser, who with his wife Linda run Wallter, a creative company specializing in modern home accessories like bedding, wall decor, and mobiles. Thank you for being here today.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Why don't we just start with you telling us a little bit about your company and everything that you do?
Well, we manufacture, like you said, wall decor, textiles, mobiles, coat racks. Now we have planters. We personally manufacture and make every one of the textile items ourselves. We do all that in-house. Everything else is done with local factories that are as close as we can get to in the Bay Area. We've had to travel a little bit, but we try to keep everything really local. And those are things that we also don't want to manufacture ourselves or we don't have the equipment for. But we try to keep it as local as possible. In the last year, we've had to kind of get a few parts made out of the country, and it was a real struggle for us um, to decide to do that and kind of step away from what we really believed in. And for the last 10 years, it's been American made, locally made. But we found ourselves in a position where we couldn't get what we wanted made here, so we had to look elsewhere. So we're kind of transitioning a little bit, but we're still trying to stay to our core value of American-made products.
That's great. That's really great that you guys do that. Is it just you and your wife working right now? Are there other employees working with you at the studio?
Currently, we're the only full-time workers. We do bring in other people when it comes to some labor, some packaging, deburring, that kind of thing. But what we try to do is keep our overhead very low and have the factories do most of the work for us so that we can receive the items and pretty much put them in bags and ship them to customers. That keeps our inventory high and our overhead low. We pretty much then just have to rely on each other to get work done.
Did I read that you guys actually started the business, I think, in maybe 2000 because you just couldn't find the sort of look that you were going for?
Yeah, the prior year to 2000, we had been working on an idea of making modern bedding products, and they were printed, like just printed patterns, but in more modern um, colors and patterns. And we'd struggled with that for a long time. For about a year, we had designed it and looked at manufacturing, trying to find manufacturers to do that, and it never sort of happened. We never found the right person. We never sort of found the right patterns that we really believed in. And I started off building furniture, and I really was more three-dimensional, and I was really struggling with printing patterns on fabric. And so we started looking at fabric more as a material to manipulate. Um, and once we discovered, or Linda actually discovered, the serger machine and what it could do on a piece of fabric and give us that three-dimensional feeling, that sort of architectural or furniture feeling, that's what kind of launched us into um, making bedspreads. And from that, we made a couple pillows, put them in a store, and sold immediately the first day. The pillows did, and we kind of looked at each other and said, "Okay, let's do this. Let's get some more fabric and start making bedding and pillows and build a line." And that's how our company was called Fold Bedding, and that's all we were interested in at that time was just bedding products. We weren't thinking where we were going to expand to. We just thought we were going to make lots and lots of bedding, and that was it. It's really kind of interesting, and as we've crept up to our 10-year anniversary this year of having this company, and we, are still making the bedding the same way we did 10 years ago, and some of these same exact patterns and colors are the ones that we started with, and we're really proud of that. That we haven't moved the bedding into another style or manufacturing or sent it overseas to get done. We're still doing it the same way and getting better at it, and perfecting it every time. And every time we make a bed, for example, when we make an onion bedspread, every time we do it, we kind of smile at each other, and when it's finished, we look at it and we go, "Wow, that was really great." We've there's another one, and it looks identical to what it was when we first came up with it. So we have a lot of pride in the bedding, the textiles, and we've had a lot of people over the years say, "Well, why don't you just get it done by somebody else? You do so many of them." And we say, there's something about making something like this ourselves and having that pride, and that makes us feel good when we complete that order, pack it up, and ship it to a customer.
Are there any designers or architects or interior designers that you really love that you're really getting inspiration from?
I'm always inspired by other successful designers in that they're successful. Um, as far as the work, I couldn't really name somebody specific that I loved their work. I mean, I have little pictures of Adam Silverman vases above my desk just because they're just so beautiful. I don't know very much about him, but looking at the vases always inspires me. Um, I am inspired by people that have sort of taken design and gone all the way with it, encompassing home accessories and clothing and personal accessories and store, retail design. They sort of brought up to a different level, and the person I'm thinking of is Trina Turk and her products, and that's sort of inspiring to me. But mostly, inspiring people that inspire me are always the people that I use as mentors, local people, family members. Those people really keep me going. I like looking at other designers and saying that's really beautiful, great work, but then I need to work on my own products. I try not to look at too many other people's products and try not to be inspired by them just because I don't want to look like I'm copying them.
Right.
So,
Yeah, that's a danger. That's a danger when you look at a lot of different designers for sure.
and it will creep up in ways that you weren't expecting, and then
Right.
just why did I come up with that? And oh, that's because I was looking at such and such products for a year and I was so inspired, but here now I have something that's identical. So I try to stay away from that, and I try to just be inspired by how other people run their businesses and how other people deal with their customers and their inventory. The bigger companies and that have sometimes nothing to do with design are the ones that I watch and um, are inspired by. So,
Yeah. Well, speaking of running a business, since it's basically just you two, how much time do you get to spend creating versus having to deal with clients and ship and the business part of the business? What's that balance?
it is very little of design. Um, and most of that happens on my own time. It happens when no one's around and I'm not at the studio and I'm on vacation somewhere and boom, I see something, a plant, I see a way, you know, something is organized and I go, wow, that could be done better, or I think I have a product for that. And then I'll spend my vacation drawing, which is a great way to spend a vacation. Me excited, I don't get bored. So more exciting things come at different times. It's never like, okay, Linda, I'm going to spend the next hour. So if I'm not packaging something and billing some bedspread, that other time is spent trying to find the products. I'll spend an entire day looking for one type of screw, whether I find it or not. It happens all the time. I'll just obsess about one very small thing. And that's kind of design, but that's not fun, inspiring, you know, just ideas are flying design. That's sort of work. But yeah, that's sort of how it happens around here a lot. So we drive down to LA all the time, and as I'm driving, bam, something will kind of come up, and then Linda and I are in the car together, and I'll just start bouncing the ideas off of her. And by the time we get to LA, I may have a brand new product that I'm ready to start drawing.
What would you be doing if you weren't running your own design business? Do you think you'd still be in the field, or do you think you'd be doing something else?
I probably would have a donut store.
Really?
I would have something completely different. It would be something completely different that I just enjoy on the side. I love donuts, so I would have a donut store. I would have an ice cream sandwich store. Something, that was just totally different, but um, it's still a product, but it's not a product that you have to make um, and hope that it will work in someone's house. It would just different kind of product,
Hmm.
but it wouldn't be a home accessory.
Well, last question. You mentioned that it's the 10-year anniversary coming up, right?
Right.
Um, what is there going to be anything, new and exciting coming up for the 10-year anniversary, or just coming up as a new product that you'd like to talk about right now and let listeners know about?
Yeah, we just arrived just the other day were our planters that we have been working on
Okay.
for the last year, and we showed them at the Dwell show and had an incredible response. We have lots of pre-orders, and so they finally arrived yesterday. They're on the shelf. We've been packing them up and starting to ship them. Um, we're happy and sad to say that we've sold so many. We were almost sold out already before we even got started. So um, that it wasn't what we were really expecting. We didn't think that they were going to be that big of a hit. It's a different concept of using planters. They hang on the wall. They, of course, because we like wall decor, they hang from the ceiling. They also um, stick into the ground with a stake. And the idea is that if you have small, delicate succulents or cactus, that you can elevate them in these pots and protect them from dogs and kids and lawnmowers and stuff like that. And so it's a cool looking thing out there. So it's somewhat sculptural, but then it's very functional. Um, and we're excited. And they came out great. They actually came out better than I thought that they would. So I'm really excited about them.
Wow, congratulations. I'll definitely include
Thanks.
some photographs so readers can check those out for sure. Well, hey, thank you so much for talking with me today.
Yeah, and thanks for calling us.
For more information about Max and Linda Geiser and their great products, you can visit Wallter.com. That's Wall with two L's, WALLTER.com. You've been listening to a Two Modern Designer interview. For more fun podcasts, inspiring design posts, and design advice, check out the blog at twomodern.com.